Hey guys, what is up? It's me, Pagey, here once again with another video for you guys. In this video, we're going to be going through who will live and who will die, in my opinion, in Suicide Squad. So the whole premise of Suicide Squad is that these people they can die. Like, it's not really cared upon if they die. I think the correct term is like cannon fodder or something like that. Doesn't really care if they die, if you know what I mean. So they send them out on these missions, these pretty dangerous missions. And they're expendable, I guess you could say, like they can die. So throughout this video, I'll give a reason why they could live, a reason why they will probably die, and then like a final thing, like they're gonna die or they're gonna live. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna group a couple of them together because I think it just makes the video a bit easier to get through. And now the first couple we're gonna go through are Katana, Slipknot, El Diablo or Diablo, whatever you want to call him, and Killer Croc. Now the reason I put these together is because they're sort of secondary members. Like we got Captain Boomerang, Harley Quinn, Enchantress is probably going to be a bigger part in the movie than most people will expect. So these four characters are probably more of the secondary characters. So it kind of gives you a hint that they might die. Now Katana and Killer Croc are a bit more recognized. Killer Croc mainly a bit more recognized because of the Arkham games and stuff like that. And Katana mainly because of Arrow. I think a lot of people might recognize Katana from Arrow. But when it comes to El Diablo and Slipknot, a lot of them won't be recognized by a lot of people, so I think the filmmakers might know, hey, we could use these people as bait to kill people pretty early on to show that these people can die and they're not really that cared about. But the reason that they could live is the fact that because DC feels that they might not be as popular as people won't, as other members of the squad might say, people won't really care if they die. So the point of killing them for any form of emotional effect or some form of reaction isn't going to be as big if, like, maybe like Captain Boomerang died or something like that. The effect won't be as big, so maybe they could live. But in regards to, there's probably more reason for them to die just because they're secondary characters, or at least El Diablo and Slipknot are not really recognized, so they could probably die. But it wouldn't surprise me if we ever saw Killer Croc or Katana die as well. Next up, we have a bit of a surprise choice, but might not be that much of a surprise, and that is actually Amanda Waller, who's actually the person who put together this squad. Now, the reason that she could live, and I think it's just a pretty obvious one, I think she's going to live in this movie, but I will give some reasons. She's sort of like the Nick Fury, but in a bad way, because she's putting all these villains together. But I don't think the Viola Davis is a pretty decent big actor, so I don't think DC would hire her just for one movie. So I'm assuming she'll appear in some other movies after this, maybe 2 or 3 more movies. But I think her role in this universe is a bit too big just to kill her after one movie, where her role, like, even though she puts them together, she won't be in every single scene, if you know what I mean, compared to some of the other actors. So her role's not going to be like one of the main roles, it's probably going to be just a tad under that. So I don't think killing her in the first movie is going to do any justice to the character, and I think it'll just annoy people more than anything. And the reason that she could die is a pretty obvious one, but I don't think it's going to happen. She put these villains together, so maybe the villains are like, yo, not that cool with this, and they might kill her, but I don't think that would happen. She could potentially become the villain, if you know what I mean, in the movie, but I don't think they'll do that. I think they'll just keep her as the person behind the squad, if you know what I mean. And I think it'd just be stupid if they killed her off, but anyway, you can leave your opinions in the comment section below if you want. I mentioned her before, and that is actually Enchantress. Now, Enchantress, I think that they're going to make her a bit more of a bigger character. Now, I think when people first saw the poster, they saw Enchantress and thought, oh, she's going to be like sort of like a Slipknot, El Diablo character, like not that big of a part. But now the issue with Enchantress is if she can actually die, because she's got like this magical presence behind her. So could be the fact that she could actually die, but then actually become alive again, which I think they actually will delve into in the movie. Now, the only issue with this is that I know they're doing some form of origin story with her, so it's probably going to be her and maybe Deadshot and then Harley Quinn. They might delve into some other ones, but they look like they're going to be the major ones. So I think they will do something about her dying and then coming back to life, and then the actual fact is she even capable of dying in this universe. And also they have got Cara Delevingne, and she's like this hot shit now, so I don't know if they want to kill it, because people might be like, oh, you killed Cara Delevingne. Not the biggest fan of that. And also another reason that she probably will actually die in the movie, not necessarily dead the whole movie, but in the trailer basically almost shows her dying, and then she just sort of comes out of that, she's in like the water with the, what's it called? I think it's called a pentagram above her. So I think she already has died in that part of the movie, and she's actually come back to life. But once again, it's all speculation. But I think she actually will die in the movie, but she actually won't die throughout the whole movie. She'll come back to life and then live for the rest of the movie. Next up we have is Captain Boomerang, and I think, honestly, I think he might die, but towards the end of the movie. I think he might make one of those sacrifice things, but I think he's a pretty popular character. I think he's going to be one of the more popular characters in this movie. I think the fact that he's using an Australian accent, because Captain Boomerang is an Australian character. He's born in Alice Springs or something like that. I think that's the origin of Captain... Yeah, born in Alice Springs, which is like in the middle of Australia. But I think the reason that he could live is maybe because of the tone that the movie might be going for. The tone of the movie is really that evil can be good and evil can win. So if Captain Boomerang is really seen as like a really terrible character, like not terrible, it's like, oh, he's a shit character, why are we even bothering to read about him? I mean, like, he does terrible things to people. And I think if David Ayer, who is the director of the movie, let him live, it would just go along with the tone of the movie really, really well. But there is also the reason that he could die, because he is like this really terrible character, and he's seen as that by a lot of people who will go see this movie. Maybe you might think, oh yeah, he could die in the movie. But as I said before, I think he will die. If he is going to die in this movie, he'll die towards the end, and I think it'll be in some form of possible sacrifice thing, like maybe someone else is going to die and he, like, you know, dives in front of the bullet, but not necessarily a bullet, if you know what I mean. So I think I'm leaning towards him living, but I would not be surprised if he dies. I think it's really like a 50, maybe like a 55-45 split, because I'm not really too sure. But leave your opinion in the comment section below. Do you think he will live or die? Because I think it's going to be a really close one. Next up is, I'm going to get through this one quickly because this is Rick Flag. Now, Rick Flag is actually technically a hero in this because he's not like a villain. He's really the one leading this team. He sort of volunteers to lead this team. So I think they won't kill him off. And I think he'll be like sort of the heroic perspective in this movie. While everyone is like sort of like dreading being there, like, oh god, why am I here? Like, this is annoying and stuff like that. He'll be the one like sort of like getting them through it. But I think he won't die. I don't think it'd be stupid to kill him. I think he might continue on into some future movies, possibly. The only issue that really could allow him to die is the fact that he's not really the most unique character, because he is like a military presence, so they can obviously just replace him with another military presence. So he's not like, yeah, as I said before, he's not the most unique character, so they could easily replace him if he were to die. But I don't think, once again, similar to like the whole Diablo thing and like Slipknot, he's not the biggest character, so I think if they like built him up and then he died, a lot of people wouldn't really care that much compared to if it was like Harley Quinn or something like that. So I think he will live throughout the movie. He'll be a major character in the movie, but I just don't think he will die at all. Next up is that we have Deadshot. Now, I think similar to the Captain Boomerang character, but I think Deadshot looks like he's going to be a bit more of like a good guy in this movie, which I think a lot of people are having an issue with this movie a bit because of that, because of, oh, they're villains, but now they're pretending to be good, or like, because it got Will Smith there, and he's like, doesn't really portray a villain that well, I guess you could say. But I think Deadshot will die in this movie, but as similar to what I said with the Captain Boomerang thing, I definitely think this will happen to Deadshot, and I think he will die at the end of the movie protecting someone. And going by some of the images we've seen throughout the filming of this movie, I think he might be protecting Harley Quinn from dying, and maybe because of the Joker, maybe the Joker's going to do something to Harley Quinn, depending on what road they go down, and whether the Joker's actually going to be a major villain in this movie, or it's going to be something else. But I definitely think Deadshot will do something to save Harley Quinn, or maybe another member, but I'm predicting Harley Quinn just going by the pictures that we've seen. And Deadshot's a pretty big character, I guess you could say. Like, he's one of the more well-known members of this squad. And also, it looks like he's going to be the main character, so I think it's going to be a massive shock if he does die, and there's going to be a lot of people going like shocked if he does die. And another reason that he could die is that Will Smith, I know this is a weird thing to bring up, but Will Smith is a pretty big actor. Like, I know some of his recent movies haven't been the biggest successes, but he's a pretty big actor, and he does cost a lot to get. So I don't think DC would want to be spending too much money on signing him on these multi-movie contracts. So I think if they just sign him up for one movie, he does die in that movie, it'd make a lot of sense. So that's, I can see him dying, but I can see him dying in a more heroic way, saving someone else. Next up at number 2, we have Harley Quinn. Now, I think you'll all know who number 1 is, but we'll get to him in a second. Harley Quinn, I think, is definitely going to live. I don't think that would kill her off. She's too, even though this is her first live action adaptation, she's such a popular character, such a big character now ever since she was introduced through the animated series. I just think there's no way she will die. Now, As I said before with Deadshot, he's going to risk his life or kill himself saving someone else. I think this person's going to be Harley Quinn, so there's going to be a lot of tension thinking that Harley Quinn's going to be the one to die. Next minute, Deadshot comes in, protects her, and Harley Quinn lives and, yeah, just lives and sees another day. I think there's also the fact that DC would be absolutely mental to kill her off, because I don't think a lot of people, or I think actually a lot of people do realize this, and hopefully DC realizes this. So many people are being drawn to this movie just because of Harley Quinn. My sister, who isn't that big of a superhero fan, cannot wait to see this movie because of Harley Quinn and Margot Robbie, essentially. Like, she loves her. So, and that's going to be especially a lot of female audiences as well are going to love this movie and see this movie because of Harley Quinn. So I think that'd be stupid to kill her off. Now, obviously, we do know there's going to be that torture scene with the Joker, basically given away in the trailer, but that's obviously going to be in before she came Harley Quinn. Sorry, so yeah, so that's got nothing to do with her dying. So expect to see Harley Quinn in a future movie. And finally, at number 1, we have the Joker. So the Joker, will he die or will he live? Now, I think a lot of people would want to see him die because it matters really, because they really haven't confirmed, is Joker the villain? The Joker's in it, has a presence in this movie, but it hasn't been confirmed by anyone if the Joker's actually going to be the villain. Like, they could pull something out of their ass and it could be someone else. Who knows what it could be. But going by the trailer, it does look like the Joker has a lot of henchmen and stuff, so he probably will be the villain, so I'm just making an idiot of myself, but yeah, you never know. It could be someone else. Maybe the Joker is a henchman for someone else. Maybe the Joker is like a number 2 to someone else. But the Joker doesn't like being number 2, so that probably won't be the case. So the reason that he will live, in my opinion, is the fact that he's just similar to Harley Quinn. Like, he's just so big of a character now that I think it'd just be stupid and a bit of a waste of time killing him in this movie. I just don't think it makes sense. And I think, especially the fact that he's going to appear in Batman vs Superman as well. He'll probably appear in future movies, maybe even the Batman solo movie that Ben Affleck's going to direct, so he could appear in that. And as I said before about him not being the villain, I think he will be the villain, but I think he'll be like the orchestrator, not the actual villain in this movie. So I think he'll just be in the background giving orders and stuff like that, and then appearing every now and then, instead of him actually being the big force, like the only one there. So I don't think they'd kill him off if that was the case. I think they'd want him to have this big movie where it's the Joker and that's it. So yeah, I think it'd be stupid if they killed him off. And I can't really give a really good reason as why he could die, just because I don't see as any sense as to why they would kill him. I guess they could make, because I think Batman vs Superman takes place before Suicide Squad by a bit. I'm pretty confident of that. I'm pretty sure they've actually said that. So if they killed him, it'd still make sense for all that Joker stuff to be coming up in Batman vs Superman, like that letter and stuff like that we see in the trailer. So thanks for watching, guys. I know this might have been a bit of a long video, but leave your opinions in the comment section below. Who do you think will live in this movie? Who do you think will die? Do you disagree with anything I said? Make sure to comment that. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe if you are new. And I will catch you later, guys. Goodbye.